Hey guys, let's talk about retiring early. And has the Philippines become too pricey to be a retirement destination for expats from the US or any Western country for that matter? You know, the cost of living here in the Philippines, I have felt the rise in the cost of living and the increased cost for food, housing, just everything. Just everything in general has gone up. But there are other choices to make here in Southeast Asia. There's many possible destinations. I have spoken to so many people, and I spent the last 3 or 4 days here just checking everything online, getting on expat groups, asking questions, and researching a little bit. The Philippines is a great destination, but it sounds like there's only 3 reasons to be here. And the 3 reasons are they speak English, the signage is in English, the visa process for coming here as a tourist, or even getting a permanent resident visa is pretty simple. You know, it's not too costly, and it can be done fairly easy if you're a U.S. veteran. They have a great program for vets. And let's not forget about the girls. You know, the girls here are beautiful in the Philippines. They're approachable. Age gap doesn't seem to be much of a problem. A lot of older guys can find girlfriends that are younger, that are beautiful, that are have traditional values. But in these other countries that you can retire to, can you find the same thing? Can you find younger women who will accept you as an older expat? And let's talk about Vietnam a little bit here. Vietnam is a great choice. A lot of guys have selected Vietnam as the place to go. The big advantage to go to Vietnam, one, it's cheaper. Everybody tells me it's cheaper. The rent's cheaper. And, you know, the food is better by far. You know, who are we kidding? How can you compare Philippine food with Thai food or the food that you get in Vietnam or Malaysia? Everybody speaks highly of the food there and the quality of the food and the price, how much cheaper it is. In Vietnam, there's the language barrier, just like in most countries. And that language barrier can be rough. You know, when you first get there by yourself, you go to a restaurant, right? You're going to have to order off the pictures because you don't know what the words mean. And what are you going to do? Learn Vietnamese? The vast majority of us, you know, we know some Spanish, but these other countries and their language, it takes a lot of study to learn their language. And it's something, as you're raised, going through school, as you're going through your career, not many people at all are getting the chance to learn these languages. But Vietnam is a great choice. And guys, I'm relying on the subscribers here, the viewers here, to comment and educate me on this, and other viewers. Give us your opinion, and don't just say, oh, Thailand is where you should go. Give me a reason why Thailand you should go, or Vietnam, or some other country here in Southeast Asia, instead of the Philippines. I think a lot of guys are looking for a second choice, and the big second choice, as everybody knows, is Thailand. So many guys go to Thailand. And is it because the exoticness of the Thai women? The cost of living is better, lower than here in the Philippines? All these countries, the cost of living is far, far lower than back in your home country. Oh my God. If you can live on $1,500 or $2,000 back in your home country, you come out here, you're living good, man. You're living good in almost any of these countries. And again, a lot of it depends where you want to live within the countries. You want to live in a city center, you want to live right in downtown, a newly developed area with high-end restaurants and a top tourist destination. That might be a little bit pricey also, but you can move out into a little bit smaller towns, some of the smaller cities, and find rent and housing and food and everything much cheaper, transportation. But Thailand is the number 2 place I think everybody goes. I think it's because the women are still exotic in Thailand, and it's easy to get in on your initial visa. I don't know the visa process of Thailand, but it's a great second choice to the Philippines. A lot of guys have said, go to the Philippines, meet your girl, and then take her with you to Thailand and have a great life. So the mixture of the women here in the Philippines and taking them to a different destination. So you get the best of both worlds. So you get the young, beautiful, traditional type of woman that fills your needs and somebody that you can talk to because they know English. You take them to a country like Thailand or Vietnam, Malaysia, where the infrastructure is much better. The hospitals are much better from what everybody's telling me. So Philippines is getting overpriced for housing because there's a market that so many foreigners are coming here that they're competing for the few homes that are available out in the smaller towns. You take DUMAGUETE, for instance. The competition for a house is fierce. When Janet and I were looking for a house, we found many houses that we liked and would take. But by the time we got there, there was already people who took it. People already threw their money down. I even saw people paying more than the asking price of the rent just to get a certain house. You know, maybe a newer built house or better furniture in the house. The costs are being driven up by many reasons. One, property is going up in the Philippines. Two, inflation is taking a huge hold. Plus the middle class is growing here in the Philippines. They're able to afford nicer things where before only, you know, the Chinese or Koreans or the Americans or other expats could come here and afford the finer things. But now it seems more readily available to everybody. Let's talk about Malaysia a little bit. You know, I just did that interview with Aaron and he speaks so highly of Malaysia, the infrastructure, and also that you can buy things of quality at a good price, at a cheaper price. He was saying it's almost American quality items. So Malaysia, and that's an English-speaking country, so there's a big advantage to Malaysia. And all these countries have negatives to them, and we'll talk a little bit about the negative to each country. But Malaysia is a great alternative. I haven't been to Malaysia. If any of you guys have been there, tell me about it. What is it that you like best about Malaysia, and what is it you like worse? Tell me the good and the bad and the ugly. I am relying on the audience to fill me in here and educate me on everything involved with choosing a different country. Because I am not a world traveler. I'm not a world traveler. But I have talked to so many guys who have traveled. And they're all telling me the good reasons why to choose a certain country and the bad reasons. And a big place somebody's always telling me to check out, but I just can't do it, is Cambodia. Cambodia just cannot be on my radar. It is just too impoverished in the country. If you think the Philippines has poverty, Cambodia, their poverty is far more. But it's cheap. People are saying it's really cheap in Cambodia. But I've heard a little bit different about the Chinese influence there in Cambodia. Indonesia. If you love the beach, it sounds like a great backpacking destination. Bali, you know, everybody wants to go to the great beach in Bali and travel around Indonesia. And backpackers seem to be really liking that Thailand, Indonesia, Malaysia backpacking experience, traveling those three countries and going into Vietnam also. It seems to be a bigger destination for the Australians, Indonesia. Now the pluses to these countries, you know, the plus to Indonesia. Indonesia has great natural beauty there. Very, very low cost of living, you know. And in the tourist areas, they love us expats that come in there. We're spending our money, and the economy in some of these areas is totally based on foreigners coming in and living there and spending their money there. But healthcare wise, they're not that good. You know, they're the same par as the Philippines, maybe a little bit below the Philippines in healthcare in Indonesia. Let's talk about Vietnam. You know, there's so much beauty in the country of Vietnam, and being rebuilt after, we call it the Vietnam War. Everything is new. So the infrastructure is great. The Wi-Fi is great. You know, your internet connection, cell phone service, transportation, everything is good. The roads are good, and it's well kept. Everything's so clean. All the videos I watch about it, because it's a communist country. The government really pushes for people to stay clean, you know, keep the parks clean. Littering is frowned upon, and it has a lot of advantages. And maybe the healthcare there is better than here in the U.S. The trouble with Vietnam is their visa process. Can you stay there long term, or do you got to keep leaving the country every once in a while? Guys, fill me in on this. I know a few people that live in Vietnam that watch the videos. Let me know about the visa process. Is that a negative, or it really doesn't matter and it's easy to navigate? Malaysia, the positives there is, it's an English-speaking country. It has great health care, far superior to here in the Philippines and Indonesia and Cambodia. But the negative is it's 50% Muslim. And it's hard for men to date Muslim women. They stay within their culture. For them to step out of their culture and date an older expat that's a Christian, Roman Catholic, Protestant, is something they won't do. And you're always going to hear all the prayer chants, the call to prayer, all these different things that are common in a Muslim country. So that's the big negative to that. The big positive is the healthcare, the cost of living, and everybody speaks English there. It's just English is the main language in Malaysia. Now let's get to Thailand, the number 2 choice of expats here. It seems like so many expats always commenting on my channel about Thailand, how great it is, how big of a condo they can get for just a couple $100, how big of a meal they can get for just $1, how great the food is, how the transportation's good. There has to be some negatives to Thailand. One, it's ruled by a king, and laws can be changed easily, and the visa program is not the friendliest. They need you to put a lot of money into the country to get a long-term visa. And that's also in Malaysia. Malaysia has the Make Malaysia My Second Home visa program. And that's something where you got to put money into the bank, and you can live there for 5, 10, 20 years with no problems and be almost like a citizen of the country. So you guys in Malaysia, you might want to check the MM2H, Make Malaysia My Second Home visa program. But in Thailand, I think it's a very expensive process to get a long-term visa there. I'm not 100% sure on the process, but I believe after 90 days, you have to make a visa run. And they're really not starting to accept just going to the Cambodian border and coming back. They want you to get on a plane and leave the country and then come back. So the visa is the big negative. The monarchy, the king that runs the country, you never know when laws will change. I don't know if they're very friendly to permanent retirees there who aren't wealthy. That I'm an old broke expat. I don't think that's going to work too well in Thailand. Maybe I'm wrong, but my understanding is it doesn't. And so many of the guys in Thailand tell me, Mike, I go to the Philippines, I try to meet a woman, and then I try to talk her into living in Thailand. So Thailand, their healthcare is great. The cost of healthcare is inexpensive. If you're here in the Philippines and you're in need of an operation or some serious care, or you're going to have some cosmetic surgery, a lot of people just go to Thailand or Malaysia to get this stuff done. So there are a lot of positives to the other countries, but every country has its negatives. And the negatives to the Philippines, let's not forget about the Philippines. There are negatives to living here in the Philippines. The lack of traffic laws here. Driving in the Philippines is a rough gig, man. And the court system here, very, very slow. Very, very slow. Everything's slow here. A lot of brownouts, loss of internet, weak internet. Yeah, the internet's good enough, but there's times when, you're online and it goes out and you got to hang around for 20, 30, 40 minutes until it comes back on. Or you have a brownout being 5 minutes long or 5 hours long, and then you got to reboot everything. And that's the infrastructure of the Philippines is the negative. And it's a big country, a lot of islands, a lot of different local governments here. Make it hard to navigate too much. If you can find a good woman here and you can call Philippines your home, you can make it all work for you, just like you can make all the other countries work for you. And I'm relying, again, on all the comments, guys. I need comments for you guys to tell me the pros and the cons to these other Asian countries, these Southeast Asian countries that people like to go to. Don't just say, oh, Thailand's so much better. Tell me why. You know, if Malaysia's so much better, tell me why. Tell me why Cambodia is a good choice. One, Cambodia, on the negative end, has a large influx of Chinese. And the Chinese are building the bigger cities. You know, they're building buildings and condos, and the Chinese influence is becoming very strong there in Cambodia. So that's something I would stay away from. Vietnam has a large influx of Russian. You know, it's a great vacation spot for the Russians, and they invest there. So Vietnam's a great place probably to live. People usually don't bring their politics with them, you know, Russian, US type politics, when you're in a foreign country and vacationing and enjoying yourself. But there is a Russian influence there, as in Thailand. Thailand is having a large influx of Russians. And is it due to the war and people with money are leaving Russia and they've chose Thailand to go live? So a lot of pluses, a lot of minuses. You do know the Philippines is friendly with the U.S. So I don't foresee problems here with American expats or Canadian expats or Australian expats. Or any expats, really. They love us expats here. They make retiring here easy because the population is so young that us older guys coming here and living and retiring here, we're spending money. You know, we're bringing dollars into the country. You know, we're not making pesos, we're making dollars, and we spend that here in the Philippines. So that's a plus for the Philippine government and the Philippine people in the economics of everything. But the cost of housing is just skyrocketing, especially here in Dumaguete, skyrocketing for rentals, the price of land, the price to do business is getting much more expensive. Lawyers are starting to charge more. The real estate agents are getting more for their rate, for their fees when they sell or negotiate for you. It's just getting more and more expensive here in the Philippines. So guys, going to retire early. I don't know if you can still do it on $1,500 here in the Philippines, but check out these other countries, pros and cons. Guys, leave me a comment below. Again, tell me the good and the bad about these other countries in Southeast Asia. I know there's a lot of you guys watching from Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, and I'm hoping to get some new viewers from Malaysia and Indonesia and get some input from them. So until next time.